Take it over, Gilda. It's all yours.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Marketing Cloud Implementation Series, Day 1. JB, you can go to the next slide. My name is Gilda Hilaire. I'm Director of Product Marketing over at Salesforce. But before we get started, I just want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedule to be here with us. The next couple of weeks will be informative. We promise you that. Next slide. So we have a lineup of experts that will be breaking down and discussing the basics and components of a marketing cloud implementation. When I think of myself, I've been, I work at Salesforce. I've been at Salesforce coming up 3 years. But prior to that, I spent about 14 years as a customer. So one can say, I have a strong background in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. However, since I started my journey on studying and implementation and even writing articles on that can be found on LinkedIn on marketing cloud implementation for businesses, I've never stopped asking one question. And that question is why? And that is a question throughout the entire series. I want you guys, as you hear these experts dive into the various components of an implementation, I want you to constantly ask why. Why is this happening? Don't just listen to them speak, but I want you to understand programmatically and systematically, why is this being implemented? Why is this being set up like this? Why are they, setting it up? Why are they telling me that this is the best way to do it? Because they will be sharing hidden steps that you need to discover to be a subject matter expert. And most importantly, with any implementation that you do, whether it's for a small or a large business, you want to increase the chances of a successful outcome. I myself have been part of bad implementations gone wrong, nothing that has to do with me, but it's because somebody didn't ask why, right? They assumed that they understood what was being explained to them. And we all know what happens with assumptions, right? Assumptions will definitely cause you to have to unwrangle, a web of mistakes. And we really want you to avoid as many errors as possible, which is why, I'm really happy that, the next couple of weeks, we're focused on implementation because it's extremely important for everybody to understand how to successfully implement the Marketing Cloud. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to JB. I will also be sharing my LinkedIn and Twitter in the chat window. But as I mentioned, please ask why, and please use the chat to ask questions to all of the presenters. Thank you, everyone. And I'll be seeing you along on this implementation series journey.
Thank you very much, Gilda. And you have been a constant support and encouragement. We feel so fortunate for having you. And I would like to go ahead and introduce myself and the co-leaders of this series. Myself, Jyotsna Bitra, aka JB, and I'm a marketing champion and 16 times certified application architect. And I have Sharath. He is also a marketing champion and certified marketing cloud consultant. And my other co-leader, Murali, he is a marketing champion and the delivery head at Cognizant Technologies. And a few logistics before we get started. This session is going to be recorded and it is going to be uploaded on the YouTube channel. I will share the link of that YouTube channel shortly in the chat window. And if you have any questions during the session, please post them in the chat window. And after the session, we will answer those questions. And if you have any questions or any clarifications, you can ask those questions on the Slack channel. And the Slack channel link also I'm going to share shortly. And yes, we do have swag. And thanks to Gilda for the swag. I will be sharing a form where you can go ahead and fill in your details. And at the end of the session, after the Q&A, we will have the duck race and we can pick the winners from that duck race. And about the schedule of this series, we have these sessions planned out on every Wednesday, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern or 8:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And there are plenty of sessions planned, as Gilda mentioned. There are wonderful experts with awesome content that is being lined up, and all of them are ready for the presentations. So we are going to schedule each of the sessions on each Wednesday. And the next ones coming up are on May 11th and on May 18th. You can soon find these sessions published on the user group. The user group link also I will share in the chat window shortly. You can if you can join the group, you will get notified of all the new events that are being published. So be on the lookout. And as I mentioned, there are plenty of sessions that are being planned that are in the line, and I can't thank enough all the speakers. And this series isn't possible without the help of the speakers and also all the community members who have been readily extending their help whatever or whenever they have been approached. And thank everyone for the tremendous support. And with that, I will turn it over to Bogdan. I will stop my screen share. And Bogdan, please take it over.
All right, let's hope this time works.
It works. Awesome.
It works. Good. So go full screen here. Yes. Hi, everybody. I guess maybe a few words about me before we start. My name is Bogdan Enake. I am a senior manager at Accenture, and I am a marketing cloud architect working with various clients, various projects where marketing cloud is a big part or is the focus of the implementation. And I would like to welcome all of you today, and may the 4th be with you. This is an unofficial official Star Wars day. For people that are big fans, they know what it means. And while I am not a big fan, I am a fan. And what you're seeing actually on the screen is a picture I took from the back window of my car. I actually put a sticker or a decal, and it shows something from Star Wars. And the session today hopefully will be a collaboration, a discussion between us. I'll pause quite often, especially in between the different major topics, to look at the questions you might have. And maybe let's kickstart with a question. Let's see how many Star Wars fans we have in the audience. What is the name of that big dog robot that shoots at the poor little people there? Can anyone type in the chat? I see Brian got it, Andy got it. That's it. It's an AT-AT. And it looks like the force is strong with the audience today. And I will continue with the Star Wars theme because, like I said, I am a fan as I go through a little bit of the agenda. And then we'll go into the 2 use cases that I will be presenting today. But before that, I'm going to touch a little bit on what I call the Lego slides or the Lego mindset. And this touch back a little bit with what Gilda was saying, ask the why, because I don't want you to just think of the use cases presented today and in the coming days as well, not just by me, as we need this, we need to build it like this, right? So ask the why, or have this Lego mindset, and I'm going to go in through details on it. And then we're going to have the 2 use cases to see how we can build ourselves a nice Lego castle for that. So what is the Lego mindset? And I try to make another movie joke here. My mom always said that Salesforce Marketing Cloud is like a box of Lego bricks. It's really, if you think about the platform capabilities, you could use an analogy of Lego bricks. If we think at the core, what Marketing Cloud does is simple things like it can send emails, right? It can build some tables. We call them data extension. We can write some queries, and we have different activities: import, export in Automation Studio, in Journey Builder, wait steps, and decision points, and things like that. So if you think of these platforms' capabilities as Lego bricks, then this Lego mindset starts to make sense, because when you put them together, and you build them, they become a solution for a problem, right? So from that perspective, have this in mind when you are watching this session and the ones that are coming, to see how some of us put those capabilities together in order to deliver the solution. Because then you see maybe the why, you see how we can improve it, or build your own, maybe make it better. So is there a manual to how to use this different activities, different bricks, Lego bricks in Marketing Cloud? Well, there is. I mean, there's documentation, right? If you go on Salesforce side, there's a lot of explanation of what each thing does. You'll see what is a data view. You'll see what an SQL activity query is, and so on. It explains you of what it does. So again, the analogy, we have different bricks. This one is red, this one is yellow, this one is for things high length, this one is 10 things length. But it doesn't actually teach you how to put them together to deliver something. And this where when you train for your certification, and again, JB had last year had a great boot camp for the admin, for example, and there were more actually for the consultant as well. You start to get a feeling of how they work together to deliver use cases, because in those certification you get asked, if the company wants to do this and import at 3 a.m. something, what is the solution, or what do you need to do? What do you need to set up? So you're starting to get a feeling of how to put them together. And last but not least, platform comes with some templates, and I'm thinking about Journey Builder, for example. So Journey Builder, if you open it, it even gives you a template. Do you want to do a journey for abandoned cart? Click here and already pre-populates some of the. So you have some sort of idea of how to build in Marketing Cloud a solution using Marketing Cloud capabilities, right? But is there more? And actually there is. So this usually comes from experience, right? So just like with Lego bricks, you get a bunch of bricks and you have a manual, you're going to build something. And if you have experience, you can think of new innovative ways of building things to fulfill needs that there's no manual for it. And that part comes from the fact that we're dealing with marketing, I guess, because marketing is not an exact science. It's I don't know, like a third data. You use data to analyze segmentation, all that stuff, right? A third is almost like gut feeling. Should I put a wait step of two days, 3 days? Yeah, I can look at the data, but your gut feeling is this. And then a third is strategy and vision and dreams that marketing teams have, right? So there's no manual for that. And this is how experience will take you to the next level, to become a master builder, right? Rather than just do what the manual does. And this is the point that I want to get to for the session today and the implementation series that are coming. We would like you guys to become master builder without having to go through all the months and years of experience that some of us did, by showing you how you can put together platform capabilities in the shape of a solution, in the shape of a scenario, of a use case, that we actually, by the way, my use cases are something that I really had to deal with in former projects that I had to work on. So this is what the community groups and the initiatives are doing. And of course, there's blogs, the YouTube videos, there's books, and there's a very nice community on Marketing Cloud of people. I don't know, like Elliot, he had the MC chat. Now he's doing the Cloud Kettle minutes. Susanna has a blog. JB has a blog. Who else? Gordon Nikon just launched a book. Ivan Razin, Adam Springs, and I'm pretty sure there's 10, 15 names that I forgot to mention. So try to get that experience so that you don't have to go through, because the user manual that Marketing Cloud comes with can take you up to a level. In order to reach the next level, it is really see real life scenarios where the platform capabilities have been deployed. And let's check. What's the name of the ship on the right? Can anybody tell me? I'm looking on the right because I have the chat. I have another.
I can help you. So it's Millennium Falcon.
Yes, Andy Bryan, you know, your Star Wars stuff. That's good. So see, even if you have a small things of bricks, if you're the master builder, you can build something where the end result is more than the sum of all parts. And this is exactly the mindset I want for you guys to look at the next use cases that I'm going to present today. So I'm not going to present something that will actually send emails and we're going to run it, but I will go in a demo on the platform besides just looking at some slides. So let's lay the foundation for the first use case, which is how do we deal with journeys, multi-step journeys? Because if you have just a journey one email, then it doesn't apply. But let's say during the journey, the customer changes the email address, right? So let me read this through. We have a company, and they would like to set up a always ongoing welcome journey for their customers, right? It has about 5-6 emails, and it takes about 3 months, and they're spaced out. It's various content, welcome, here's the benefits, here's maybe a little bit of upsell or something like that. And there's dynamic content, there are messages, and the journey runs every morning, let's say at 10 a.m., so once a day, and we get some sort of a data with new customers, daily delta of data. And this is something it's a common scenario you'll find. You'll find that when you work with Marketing Cloud, you would need to receive daily data, and those people that either are already qualified or you'll have to qualify them to enter the journey, right? The problem is because it's a 3 months journey, and the customer has my account option to log in, they can change their email address. So we don't want the old email address to be used in the journey, and the new email address must be used in the journey, right? And this is the first case. This is a simple. I'm pretty sure you already have some idea of how this is done. And let me switch to the Marketing Cloud and take a look at. Okay, I have this pop-up thing here at how we can deal with this. So if you remember, let's do a create new journey. There is a setting in the journey that could help us deal with a changing email address. This is a problem. maybe let's take a step back. Why is this a problem? This is where your knowledge about what journey data versus contact data is, right? And just a refresher for all of us, the journey data, let's say you have that list, it's in a data extension. So it starts with a data extension. So whatever the email address was at the moment, that list of last 24 hours people that needs to enter the journey was that email address, that is the same data that the journey will consider as part of the journey data, right? So if you're trying to use that, it doesn't matter if you go back and change it, it will still make like a snapshot of the data and we'll use that. So that setting that I mentioned is here. And usually most of the time you will say, I want to use the email address from, and there should be a field here if I select the right data extension. So what about this? Because this is a checkbox that we don't use that often, right? So let's take a look. It says use email attribute from contacts or subscribers. It's the same thing. Old school people like me, I still use the subscriber or subscriber key terminology. So what if I use this as a possible solution? That means that I'm no longer bound to my journey data from the data extension because this is contact data now. So if I somehow update my contact email address, I'm expecting the journey when the next email gets scheduled to use that email address, right? So, and this is what happens. If I click on add here, as you can see, it looks in the all subscribers and a couple of things. Here I see contact and lead. And it asks me to select, like on email addresses, all subscriber does have the email address field. So I can just select this. But here, let me ask a question, see if you're aware. Why am I seeing 3 options here rather than just maybe all subscriber email addresses? What has been done to this account that I can see lead and contact? Okay. Exactly. So because this account has been connected through MC Connect, I can now also, instead of just using from all subscriber, I can use from contact and leads there. And yes, see, it's the same thing. This is the email field from the Salesforce core platform that is done. Okay, so let's say I selected this and we're done. Easy case, Bogdan, right? Not so fast. Let's think this through a little bit. So the scenario was we get a daily delta of people that need to enter the journey. They arrive into a data extension, and we use that data extension, for example, to power the journey. So no problem. Well, this is where we need to deep down a little bit to understand how email sends or how journey treats the email sends. Because, and here's the problem, I'm going to just say it out loud. What if the one entry in your data extension, one row, does not exist in the contacts? What do you think Marketing Cloud, the Journey Builder, will do? And let's see some chat replies. So one of the rows that not exist in all subscribers because it's completely new customer to Marketing Cloud. What do you think Journey Builder will do in that case? Will it send the email? Will it fail the email? Will it create maybe the subscriber and send the email? That's a good question, right? Hard error, will send, contact fails to send, insert the sub. Send email create. Okay, so we have all 3 options. One of them is true though. The the true option is it will fail. Why? Because at the core, all email sends in Journey Builder are actually trigger sends. So maybe that was the reason why people said it will create the subscriber and will send the email, because this is what it does if I select from here, right? I never have to worry about creating the contacts first. And the way you can see that is by looking in email studio in the trigger emails, and you can actually see under the journey. And let me see if I can go there. Boy, I have this bar here on the top of my stuff. All right, so let's do it like this. So if I go into here in interaction, trigger emails, see, Journey Builder sends. It creates actually the, even per version. And this is a trigger send. So if I take a look at what it does, it has some details, okay, whatever, email details, but look here, add subscriber to the list, update subscriber. So this is how Journey Builder takes care of it. And why does it fail? Because I just explained why it should not fail, because it's the chicken and the egg, I would say, problem. So the moment I select this, it will say, okay, I'm going to go and look in the contacts and I'm going to get the email from there. And it goes there and it finds no contact. But wait, aren't you creating the contact when you're doing the send? Yes, but to do the send, I need the email. See the chicken and the egg? Like I want to do the send and create, but you're telling me to look for the email to an existing contact. So it will fail from that perspective because you cannot find that contact. All right, so what do we do then? Well, this is where we have to make sure the contact exists in all contact, right? So how do we do that? Let's think which Lego brick can we use to develop this solution. And I can think of the import file mini Lego there, that I can put it as part of the solution that I'm building. Because I'll do this again. If you go, maybe if you remember this, if not, it's a good thing to discover. If we go in Automation Studio and we want to create a import file activity, most of the time you select the data extension. That's where you store the data. But there is a little known option. You can import into a list. So again, it will ask you where the file is. It's the standard import. It's my test CSV or whatever. It does not exist. And then it will ask you where to put it. So remember, this thing here, if you select, it will give you some additional options. And one of the options is my subscribers, all subscribers, right? And you can do it as an email or SMS. And this is how you can populate in an automated fashion the same data that you're going to use in the journey, in the data extension. You can also make sure the same data is part of all contacts or all subscribers, right? So what option do we have? Well, it's again the usual. I would say add and update, or add only, but not update only, because you need the add. You want to create those subscribers, right? And as you can see, at minimum, you only need the two fields to create the subscriber, which is a subscriber key and email address. Since we're here, you can actually, if you guys remember what profile attributes are in all subscribers, you can actually import and populate those fields in case your solution uses those fields rather than some fields in the data extension. And here you have a list of them. Okay, so we're done, right? Let me share another trick here. If you haven't worked with lists, and I haven't worked in a while, because everybody likes data extension because of flexibility and all that. But in our case, we need to work with a list. If the import fails in one row, all the import fails, not just the row, right? So let's say you have 1,000 people qualifying today for the journey, one of them fails, and then everybody is, let's say, new. There's nobody in the all subscribers, then you'll have 1,000 failed emails in the journey. What are the reasons that something will fail? Well, it's because the data is not good. That's the most common reason. It's so what data? I just need a subscriber key email address. Okay, let's make sure email address sits in, for example, an email address field or is validated. Okay, so I'm done. No. And this is the tip. I think when you're trying to import in all subscribers, a platform pays attention to bounces. So if you have a subscriber key that bounced in the past and you're trying to re-import it, I think the platform kind of defends itself. Like, don't give me crap because I know it's crap. I'm not gonna import these guys, right? So you have to make sure that the automation doesn't fail, and maybe you need to scrub or you need to clean up your file first to make sure that you don't fail the automation. All right, so see, a lot of knowledge. Like, I need to know this, I need to know this. Let's try to put this together. Let's say I want to build now an automation to prepare for that journey. And in that journey, I'm going to use this. So what did we discuss? Let's say it's a schedule one. So first thing, you're going to import a file with the people that needs to enter the journey, right? And the import file, the first one, you're going to do into a data extension. So this will be an import into a DE data extension from test. I'm not going to save this, but let's go through the first 3 steps just to show the difference, right? So let's say I want to import them in master subscribers, and you do this, and you fulfill the import. And then if you trust the data, for example, then you don't need to do that cleanup. But let's say I don't trust the data. So what else do I need? I need to do maybe some sort of a SQL. And I'm going to write a join, say, whatever I imported better not be in bounced data view or some bounced data extension that I keep the bounces, right? So that could be done with a SQL query. So the result will be into a data extension that I know now for sure has the cleanup. There's no possible way it can error out because of data quality. Okay, but how do I import now from a data extension? Manually you can, but if we want to use the automation, it's not easy. So you would need to do a data extract. So you go back to file mode. Where's my data extract? Data extract, first one. So I'm going to extract the data that my SQL query cleaned up into a file. And then I'm going to use that file to do the import into a list. So again, remember, when I do the import into a list, I have to choose here, subscriber list and my subscribers and all subscribers. This way, I'm making sure that everybody's gonna that is entering the journey also exists in all subscribers. So I'll do a summary and then I'll take a pause to see if there are questions. Let's go back to this. Full screen. So we just did the demo. So the summary is, what are the Lego bricks we played with? The one where we know about journey data versus contact data, right? Because otherwise you cannot understand why those two options are different. And we know in the journey builder, in the settings option of a journey, you have the use email attribute from contacts. And we looked at, does it fail or does it not fail? And I said there's the chicken and the egg dilemma for the platform. So we want to make sure that the contact exists in the all subscribers table, and we would like to prevent errors. If we make an automation, we want to prevent errors that could trigger an import failure. And at the end, we're just going to do an import file, maybe a second one that it's just uses a list, not a data extension. I'll take a pause here to see if there are any questions.
I don't see any questions as of now, Bogdan. Yeah, I see one coming in. You want to take
Is there a way to send an email to two different working email addresses? So that's a good question. I had to deal with some clients that they had multiple emails associated. Let me see if I got it. Is there a way to send email to two different in the same multi-step journey? To two multiple emails, and one was primary and there was like a secondary. Technically, there is, if you perform updates between the steps. So in one step, you want to use an email. In the other step, you want to use your secondary email, for example. But before we think of anything, ask the why. Why would you need that? Because business-wise doesn't make too much sense. I should be communicating with you on an email address. And if you don't like it, I will let you update it. And that's the whole purpose of this use case, to see how we deal with that. But if you're telling me two, why not three? Why not four? So it opens up sort of a can of worms. I had a client requesting something like this. I pushed back and I said, it doesn't make too much business sense here. Do you need a file transfer activity? I used to build with file transfer activities. After I discovered that import file, if you select a external source, it will do the transfer for you. So you can use it, but just so you know, import file from an external source includes the transferring of the file. Now you would use file transfer for something else. What does it do? Like if it's encrypted files, am I remembering this correctly? I think it's how you decrypt, for example, by using a file transfer, but you don't have to. Subscriber key in the data extension, it's whatever, I guess. You have to talk to the client, for example. I don't suggest there's, I call it the subscriber key discussion. I always have, because each client has a better data management than others, and ideally they generate their own key. We don't use like email address. Email address is the last option, let's say. I have come across a scenario where we use journey entry as the entry source and also for the email source. Right, Ankur. So this is exactly the problem, because if you update in the entry source, you're updating journey data. This is where I said here you have to understand the concept of journey data versus contact data, right? If you want to accommodate the change, and this applies not just to the email address. I'm using email address because it has a designated setting. But if you update data extension and use as an entry source, it will not be taken into consideration in the journey. All right, let's be cognizant of time a little bit. I'll move to the next. So to keep in line with how we deal with changes in Journey Builder, what else can change in a multi-touch point, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months journey, whatever? It's the consent subscription, right? Think of preferences center. People go, they update their preferences, and they might be in the middle. I'm not talking like global or master unsubscribe from everything. I'm talking about more granular stuff. So let's say you have a journey that is for newsletter A, and somebody said, I don't want to receive that. And the newsletter somehow has 2, 3 touch points. But let's go with the real actual use case. So let's say we have a bank, and they have this journey for people that have credit cards, and they want to entice you to use your points, right? So they offer, they send some email like, you have this many points, you can use 5,000 points to get this nice vacuum cleaner or something, and then another email to, you can pay from your checking account, you can use points and whatever. So they want to encourage them to use the points. And they do have some preferences, because I mentioned, so this is the retail banking. They also have business banking. And this falls into products and services category. It's a commercial message. It's not necessarily an account related message. So they do have a preference center for that. And data, and you'll see most of the clients see data is being recorded on the eCorp side here, and it's recorded at email address level, and it's shared with Marketing Cloud. And this is not an exception. As you'll work with clients, you'll see that, especially big one, but small one as well, they don't rely on Marketing Cloud subscription level. Like in all subscriber, you're unsubscribed, you're bounced, you're on hold, right? They want to control that. And they build their own databases where they store this consent. And because not all of them will be evolved at recording this at subscriber key level, they use email address. And this is important because this complicates a little bit how Journey Builder behaves, because Journey Builder, you enter Journey Builder with your subscriber key. We just saw Journey Builder doesn't care about the email address because you can change it while you're in the journey, but you cannot change the subscriber key while you're in the journey, right? So problem, customer have the option to update their preferences, and the eCorp bank wants the journey to honor those preferences. So if you stop halfway through the journey, I'm sorry, that's it, you're out, right? Here's, let's see if Brian or somebody else, eCorp bank, what's the movie that we see at eCorp? Anyone? It's a TV show, actually. Mr. Robot, yes. It's for everybody that's a little bit of dev like us, that's a good TV show to watch. Here in the use case, let's cover a little bit the data configuration as well, because it's important. So I said we're going to have some customers for that journey. So you see here on the left, right? They have a subscriber key. They come with an email address and some additional data. And the bank also keeps a email preferences into a separate table where, and they store it at email address level. They do, because they have business banking and retail banking, so they want to keep those separate. And then these are pretty much options. So product and services categories, surveys and customer feedback, account related newsletter, whatever. We can just come up with things. The bolded one are primary keys. They don't play necessarily a big part, but you have to consider this. So when it comes to data, you see that there's no sub key that I can link here. So I'll have to deal with the fact that it's a one here. So I have one customer. I can have multiple customers. So it's either one to many or many to many relationship that you will need to build. So let's take a look in Marketing Cloud. How is this going to play out? So again, what is the use case? I get some data about customer, about their preferences. And if something changes in the data, I want the person to exit the journey or no longer receive anything. And the keyword here is actually exit the journey. We have a Lego brick for that. So how am I going to use that in deliver the solution? Let's take a look. So the exit criteria uses, let's say, preferences expired. It uses contact data, right? So what do I need to do in order to play with contact data here? I need to use the data designer, right? So I need to link what? Link this thing to customer and customer to contacts, right? So that I can build my logic as an exit criteria from the journey. So that is happening. So let's maybe go there first. That is happening in Contact Builder and Data Designer, right? So, and I think I already did it here. Let me check. Yeah, so master subscriber is that customer that I mentioned, where you get your people that need to enter the journey, for example. And then if you look here, it's a many-to-many relationship between this table and email preferences on email address as the field, right? So once you build this, then you are able to write something like this. So in contact data, where was it? Demos. So master subscribers, right? This is my, this is the place where it starts. This is the data extension that I'm going to use for the journey. So let's think of what we want to write. We want to write something like if, again, let's take a look at what's the ask. So this journey belongs to the retail banking products and service category. So I want to check if this email with retail as the business unit has a, say, false in the products and services table, right? So here, if this email belonging to the retail, these are Boolean, I forgot to mention, has a false, because that changed in the contact. They no longer want to receive products and services communications, but they do want to receive about surveys and feedback. So that is how you go with the granular stuff. So the way you're going to write this, you're going to say the email address in my customer master subscriber equals with what? Because I don't know what email address is. So I'm stuck. No, use this thing, add an attribute to compare, right? So by using this, you're allowing, you're allowing the logic to include dynamic values rather than say this is equal to true or this is equal to that. And it says here, drag an attribute from data library. So I'm going to go into email preferences now that we saw it's linked. And I'm going to say the email address from my customer equals the email address in that second table. So I'm telling the platform to go and look whatever email is using right now to check to see if there are any things there. And you will get some error here. Email address in that table has to be an email address field and has to be mandatory. You cannot have text fields. I had to deal with a lot of pain where people build that extension where email address was put in a text field and not mandatory. because it will give an error like, how do you want me to check something is equal with something that you're not even sure it has a value because it's not mandatory, right? So we cannot blame the platform here. It tries to do the best for us. And we need to build it more. So the line of business is, and here I don't need, because I know exactly, it's called retail. I have like a pick list. Is the retail or business? And we said the preferences for products and services is false, for example, right? So this is how you can use multiple things to achieve an exit criteria. So we have a data model, we build a data designer schema, and we use the exit criteria from the journey to deal with people changing their mind halfway through the journey about this. And that's pretty much it. You save it, and it will exit the people. Now, there's some other knowledge that I want to share with you guys. When does, actually, let me ask this question. When does a journey or journey builder check the exit criteria? Let's see in the chat what you guys have to say about this. After every wait, after wait, every activity. Okay, most of you got it right. It's after every wait. So let's say you have the email, right? And then you have, where is my wait? Between them. So I send this email, in 24 hours, they change their mind. The platform checks this, the exit criteria after each wait. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is something maybe you guys want to check it out. I think it checks at midnight Central Time, North America. But I've never tried to see if that works. So it's after, I know for after every wait it does, but it might do that as well. So this is how you can build it, like multi-steps journeys. You can use wait steps between them, and then you use an exit criteria to check preferences. Let's see what else we need to be aware of here. No, I think that's pretty much it. Again, let's have an open mind. I'm using the use case of preferences to actually explain why and how you should use exit criteria in Journey Builder, because there are other scenarios here. Is let's say that we're not talking about a preference. Let's say you have a let's say they have an offer, and the offer expired, right? So it's not that they opted out, you are opting them out because the offer no longer qualifies. So you can do the same thing. You have a Boolean for an offer, and you can build an exit criteria, especially if you're in a long journey, something happened, the offer is done. I don't want to send emails saying, take advantage of this offer. Or let's flip it the other way around. Let's say you no longer qualify for the offer, or you took the action, you took the offer, right? So if I have some email and this email and some reminder, you took the offer. So build an exit criteria that checks contact data, like I showed you. Not on the email address, we don't need, we just need a simple data extension where the offer says has taken offer or has taken action. It's the action you wanted. And you switch that from false to true, and your exit criteria now becomes a way to get people out of the journey. I encourage you to think of this mini block that is very powerful, exit criteria from journey, because I've seen a lot of implementation where people were using update contact data and build paths, like it's a 3-email journey. They build a path with 3 emails, and they keep re-entering people in the journey to go on the first email path, second email path, and keeping track like which email, just so that they can check if some offer or preference was expired in a sequel, and then re-enter them in the journey. I've also seen, well, let's not go into other details. Please consider exit criteria because it's a powerful tool, and you can, it's one of my favorite bricks when I'm building journeys in Journey Builder. Let's put it this way. So let's do a summary, and then again, we're going to go to some questions. Understand the concept, right? Journey data versus contact data, because you will have to update contact data. Do not update the data extension that is used as the entry point. This is maybe, it's worth mentioning, business process alignment. So in our example, we looked at preferences. If the marketing doesn't work on a sort of a preference center mindset, so I'm going to build 10 journeys. 3 are for products and services, 2 are for customer feedback, right? Then how do you want me to know which preference was? You have to tell me. So marketing has to do their job here. We saw we need to prepare the data by linking using data designer, one-to-many or many-to-many, depending on your setup there. And then that small checkbox, use add an attribute to compare, is how you compare dynamic values in the journey. In our case, the dynamic value was the email of the person being checked. And we use that to drag and drop. And as you guys know already, it's automatically checked after each wait step. Here's, I just came with this. I think it's a good idea. I remember working on something that they got some list, but the list was like 2-3 days old, and they put it in the journey. And oh, what if the person unsubscribed? So the way you can do it is start your journey with not the 1 day. Let's put it a 1 minute or a 1 hour wait step, because you know at the end of the wait step, if you write the exit criteria, right? This one at the end of the wait step, it will be checked. So not even the first email will be done. Of course, this is more like a patch, because when you qualify a few people for in the data extension, you should use the latest and greatest. But sometime in my case, that wasn't the case. So we ended up doing something like this. And it's good for DevOps as well. You get to check before, let's say you're expecting 1,000 people and you start the journey and you see 10,000. Oh my God, what do I do? You pause it here until you figure out what happened. No harm, no foul. Let's open the floor for questions. Every wait, exit criteria work. Does exit criteria work in 1 to multiple condition also? Yes, you have to be careful, because it will return all the rows. Let's say my email is for retail banking, but also for business banking. So it will return all of them. So the way you write it, you have to expect that multiple rows are returned, and you have to look for a specific one. And when that row is being found, then it doesn't matter the rest of them. After the customer exited the journey, customer change email address preference for this email is now true. So change their email address, Sveta. This is, hey, this is my Sveta. It's, they enter the journey again. They enter with the customer key, so the journey doesn't care about email address. Is whatever was used in the data extension is the email address. Now, how about we combine the two? Maybe I use email from contacts. So if the email was updated and I guess, the preference was updated, I think it should work. as long as you the platform will pick the updated email address.
Bogdan, thank you very much for your awesome presentation. I just wanted to do a time check here. We are over time, but if you have a hard stop, you need to jump to another meeting or
I
anything else.
don't. I can stay.
Okay.
So yeah, I can go. Maybe let's stay 10 more minutes. I'll try to go through the emails.
Yeah, and to everyone, if you have any other questions, we are also answering the questions on the Slack channel. I have shared the link of the Slack channel. I will share it one more time. And after the session, you can post the questions. And at leisure, we are going to review all the questions. And Bogdan is also active on the Slack channel. He's going to check them all and answer.
That's right. So let me take a couple more. Maybe Jim, are there any consideration you have journey goals that are different than your exit criteria? So one of the things is like when you look at the goal, see the interface looks exactly like the one from exit criteria, right? Is this and in drag and drop stuff. Now, what they do is, if I'm not mistaken, they both exit you from the journey. So why is there a difference between exit and goal? I think it's on the reporting. If you go on the journey and you want to report, the goal criteria will be considered, not the exit one. And so that's one consideration. If you want to measure something that is not exits because you change your preferences, do not put them as the goal. And you can pull multiple criteria. So here it's the exit, right? And here you can go and build your goal. And I'm not sure if you can build more than one goal. I don't think I ever tried it, but this is how you should separate them. What else? Ankur, while using exit criteria from journey, where can we get the reports of the contact have exited the journey? Business to know such type of metric. Right, so this is what I suggest is Susanna, where did I put that thing? Data views, schema. So this is some journey activities. I'm trying to see if there are, you can inquiry, because I'm pretty sure you don't want the fancy report that, because Journey Builder will give you who entered, who exited, and so on, right? I'm never have to do it, but I'm pretty sure there's some activity object here if they exited. Raw data is still available. Let me check here. It's still available in the journey. It's just that I don't have any journeys running demo. Let's take a look here in the last 30 days. But this is more for you. If you need a report, then see, here is contacts evaluated, and you have the met the goal criteria, failed this exit, by the way. I think I'm mistaken, failed this exit. So you can see who exited, and that's how I actually can troubleshoot, make sure your exit criteria works. But for the reports, I would try with the data views. Yeah, that's Susanna Dragana. It's that lady from Poland. I love that data view.
Yeah, her blog is sfmarketing.cloud, if I'm not wrong. You can go check the data view map there, and I have that downloaded on my browser window. So whenever I need to refer to it, I have easy access to that. And
exactly, it's SF Marketing Cloud files, something like that. WordPress, but it's a direct link to the PNG. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is, sfmarketing.cloud. It's at the bottom.
Cloud. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for your patience, Bogdan. I think you have covered every question that is in there.
All right.
Yeah, we don't have And everyone, any other questions, please share them on the Slack channel. And the Bogdan, I'm going to do the duck race. So you're free to leave. If I know you have spent your time during the working day. So
Yeah, that's okay. It's I took a day off
oh wow.
today, so
Oh my God.
so I'm all yours.
You are an inspiration, Bogdan.
So much.
I'm gonna share my screen. It's been a while that I have done the duck race, so let me check on these. So I'm going to give the numbers, or we can take the numbers of the columns here instead of assigning numbers. So I have numbers from 3 to 54. So I'm going to do the duck race for 54. Okay. So I have to figure out how to start over 54. We have one winner from this one. So let's get set. Let's see who the winner is. Okay, any guesses who it's going to be? 54. And yeah, the last member who filled in, this is Vaibhav. Vaibhav, please share your email under the contact details so I can contact you later on sending the swag over to you. And thanks everyone for joining today's session. And as we have mentioned, there are plenty of sessions that are in the plans. So we are going to have them scheduled on every Wednesday. Please make sure to check the notifications, check the events that are published and join them. And once again, I thank you, Bogdan, for a wonderful session. Thanks for all that you do for the community.
Thank you for organizing this.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye-bye.